Let's take some more calls. Marcus, hello.
Hello, Duncan. How could I not phone you on the thing about Pink Floyd?
Are you a Floyd fan?
Of course I am. You know I am because I sent you a YouTube video clip of me playing Shine On You Crazy Diamond.
Oh, that's right. You're the bloke who sent me a video of yourself playing Shine On You Crazy Diamond. I remember now.
Am I allowed to say what my YouTube channel is so other people can see that?
Is there anything dodgy on your YouTube channel?
Absolutely nothing dodgy whatsoever.
No drugs, no naked activity? Nothing?
No drugs, no naked activity, correct, sir.
All right, well, I mean, it wouldn't matter really if there was. But go on, what's your YouTube channel?
Okay, MarcusNicholson.Global.
MarcusNicholson.Global. So why have you set up a YouTube channel with you on there doing Floyd numbers?
Because that links with my proper website where I show my other talents apart from what I do for my regular job, and part of it is Pink Floyd Connection, because it is through Pink Floyd that I do my job even better, through the displacement of doing multiple things at once.
You've lost me a little bit there. What do you do then? What's your other job?
Right, I'm an LGBTIQ plus relationship psychologist, and part of it I do music therapy.
Right.
The music therapy aspect, when that comes up, I use the stuff that I learnt from Pink Floyd, and I bring the energetic nature of that into my therapy.
Wow.
So I actually blame Pink Floyd for some of the extra bits and pieces of, shall I say, whizzy things hanging around the room when I'm counselling somebody, and it's pretty much directly responsible from them, because I use all the etheric stuff that they create through their music. I put that into words, and I try and put that energy into the person's body.
So when did you first make this connection? I mean, it sounds extraordinary. When did the music of Floyd start influencing the other bits?
Right, the really quick story is my 16-year-old cousin Anita in Melbourne. She invited me to a Pink Floyd concert. I said, why would I want to go to that? We're waiting for them to start, and the background music was 1969, Roger Waters from Ummagumma, several species of small furry animals gathered together in a cave and greeted with a pect.
Right.
And she said, Marcus, I can't believe you don't know that. And I said, you can't be serious, said that American tennis player.
Yeah.
So that was the introduction to me to Pink Floyd. The next day, when I was at home, I ordered every single Pink Floyd album, and now I have about, well, I've got the whole lot now, and the rest is history. But when you said, I have to take a breather here because my energy is really high at the moment.
Yeah, I can tell.
When you said, let's celebrate Pink Floyd, I really had to dig deep, because actually I had everything to say, but actually nothing's coming out. Now, when Mel phoned me up just before you went to the 10:30 news, I had to really dig deep. And actually, I think I've come up with something which hopefully will resonate with the people who are listening, who are also Pink Floyd fanatics.
Right.
People who don't particularly like Pink Floyd, us Floydy fanatics, don't get that. We can't understand why they don't like them. Right? Now Pink Floyd, they occupy a spiritual part of people's bodies that other bands don't. And when someone challenges you why you like them so much, it's actually very difficult to say exactly what it is.
I don't think that's true.
Well, with me, I think it is, because some people who I say...
you don't know which bit I don't think is true.
Okay. Which bit? Tell me.
Well, you said that they enter the body in a spiritual way that other bands don't. Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, actually, no. But we're only talking about Pink Floyd.
Well, that's what you said. You said other bands don't, and I'm putting to you that they do.
Well, of course, yes, they do, but in different ways, different from Pink Floyd. Right, okay. In the same fashion of the way Pink Floyd does.
Which is what?
Which is, it occupies a part of my brain where if I'm asked to describe what it is about them, I cannot actually describe it in words because it has transcended.
That means you're not a very good communicator then.
Absolutely, but actually...
I don't mean to be rude, but I mean, you're a man of words. You're doing a really good job. You must be able to somehow describe how Pink Floyd works for you. You must be able to do that.
Right. Okay. If you want, you've asked that question, and I'll give you my answer.
Yeah.
My answer is I have finally realised that a lot of it is not about communicating that feeling in words. It has transcended words. It has gone into my spirit. It has gone into the soul of my body. So therefore, when you ask me that question, I will find it increasingly more difficult to answer that question, because actually it's words are no good to describe how I actually feel about that band.
All right, let's turn it on its head. If someone said to you, "Nah, Pink Floyd never got them really," how would you react?
Yeah. Right. Okay. Now that you've brought this conversation up today, I would now react in the following fashion.
Yeah.
That's your business. That's how you feel. I'm okay with that, because actually I can understand that they just don't do it for you. Yesterday, I would have had a different answer, where I would say to myself, I cannot understand why they feel like that. But today, I accept it.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's not everyone's cup of tea, is it, Pink Floyd?
No. I really had to think about this hard, just because you brought this conversation up today. Right. And finally, I think I've got the answer of, if they just don't get it and just let them be. I feel like they're missing out on something, but it's just the way it is.
This is a remarkable conversation. When I turn on the microphone and I find a news story I quite like, or gives me an opportunity to talk about something I wouldn't normally talk about, and I think, oh look, here's something about David Gilmour releasing a new song, we can talk about Floyd on the phone in tonight. I thought people would phone me up and start telling me about the first time they heard Dark Side of the Moon or something like that. You've taken it to a very different level. Where do you think you'd be without Pink Floyd?
Right, okay. First of all, my dad would say, I can't answer that, because the question is, what if never happened? So you asked me a question where, what if never happened? So we have to conveniently jump over that first bit.
Yeah, that's a fair comment. All right, yeah.
And then after that, where would I be? It is a really hard question, because a lot of the chord sequences that Pink Floyd use, no other band that I know of use them, particularly in Comfortably Numb and certain bits of Dark Side of the Moon, where they come into the last cadence before the last couple of songs start. With me, it's all about the chords that Richard Wright put on his Hammond organ, where if someone's listening to that who doesn't have musical knowledge, they would think that those notes sound totally wrong to the ear. But to the trained ear, when you know that person can join 2 or 3 chords together and play all those notes together at the same time, when they change from one song to the next, and you know it makes sense, you cannot explain that to somebody who doesn't know music. So what's the point? Because you're wasting your breath.
Out of all of the Floyd albums, then, let's bring it back to something less intrusive.
Okay,
What would you say is the gateway Floyd album you would suggest to someone?
Metal.
Why?
Because of Echoes, and because the part 2. Yeah. Because of Echoes, that's the second part, not part 2. But One of These Days, of course, which is the first track on that album, and also you hear the Doctor Who reference to that, but the Doctor Who reference came second. They didn't know the Doctor Who were possibly going to take that little bit of that Pink Floyd noise. So all the people out there are thinking, where the hell is that Doctor Who bit coming in? But if you really know One of These Days, I'm going to cut you into little pieces, you will know the Doctor Who reference. Mm-hmm. And then by the time when you get to track 6, which is 23 minutes and 8 seconds long, I believe, when Echoes starts, there is a little bit of Doctor Who in there again, but the funkiness of the C-sharp minor chord after 6 minutes and 57 seconds, when the guitar bit finishes and Richard Wright Hammond organ comes in, it is utterly amazing.
You've done such a good sales job there, Marcus. I've got to move it on, but thank you. What an illuminating call. That's Marcus in Fulham on BBC Radio London. Selling the idea of Pink Floyd, it's affected him personally. Did you pick up on that in the call? Did you get that? Very clear that without Floyd, he wouldn't be doing what he's doing now. Wow. It's BBC Radio London. We're talking about Pink Floyd because Dave Gilmour's got a new track out, and